Hello everyone, and this is Phoenix here, and oh, okay. I have a feeling doing a video like this with this mask on is gonna be kind of annoying. So, anyways, yes, this is the mask I would normally be wearing, but fuck it, anyways. So, yeah, so it's Halloween, so I hope everyone is having a great time during, one of my favorite holidays ever, because it is October, and I felt like doing a pickups video with my little, Scream outfit. Although I know this isn't, actually one. It was just one I picked up at Walmart, last year, so I was like, fuck it, whatever. Well, although last year I was wearing a different type of ghost costume, but, anyways, that's not the point here. So, yeah, so this is gonna be the next pickup video for the month of October. And, not a whole lot else I can say when it comes to, updates. Maybe I'll just do that at the end of the video, but, anyways, so without further ado, let's do the first things first, and that is the shoutouts. Alright, so the first channel that's going to get a shoutout here is one called TurboZone. In fact, I actually heard about his channel through Majority. And in fact, he actually does some videos with him there, but as for the videos that he does on his own, he mostly does do reviews on a lot of random games. He does newer stuff, older stuff, so there is some good variety there. And he's also done some general discussion videos, not a whole lot, but he's done some. And overall, from what I've seen of his videos, he's a pretty cool guy, and he also does the way how he does his reviews are very off the cuff style, non-scripted, which is always interesting. So yeah, that's actually a pretty good channel to go check out. Now, the next channel here is a channel I met through one of BMG's streams, and that's Cybernetic Slayer. He does do a lot of Let's Plays. He also does do a lot of streaming as well. He does a lot of arcade runs for, Tekken. He also... I know he was playing, what was it there? Max Payne, The Last of Us, and also some Uncharted. So, some pretty good stuff there, and I also find it to be pretty funny as well. So, yeah, there you go. That's another good channel to check out. And the last channel on here that I'm going to be mentioning here is a channel that actually started up, I think this month, or it was the ending of last month, I can't exactly remember there. But yeah, he's a very new channel, and that is RPG Fantast. Not Fantastic, but Fantast, yes. Now, this guy does do a lot of, discussion videos, and he also does do, some, pickup videos where, he actually talks about the games, which I think is always an awesome thing. And, yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of content at the moment there because, like I said, he, just started up there. But so far, though, I do really like a lot of the things that he has to say. So, yeah, that's actually a good channel I think you guys should need to check out eventually there. So, yeah, those are going to be the three channels I'm going to be giving out for a shout-out for this month of October. So now, let's go talk about some of the games I got. Alright, so I think the first system we should start talking about first is the Atari stuff, since they're the most easiest ones to explain. So, this first game over here is Yar's Revenge. It's a really interesting, shooter where you're your spaceship and you gotta shoot at a giant-ass bug on one side of the screen. It's amusing for what it is. I mean, I kinda like it. I mean, there's not a whole lot else I can say, but, yeah, simple stuff. Then this one over here is, Sword Quest Earthworld. As you know, there was supposed to be 4 of these games, but only 3 of them got made, and this was one of them, because it was supposed to be for a contest thing, which I'm sure most people know about since the AVGN video, but yeah, it was actually some pretty interesting stuff, but, this game is basically a maze game, and then when you keep on going through hallways, it goes and then it goes into another hallway but with a different color, and then sometimes you'll find rooms where you gotta do a little puzzle thing. It's pretty good, but of course it is really hard to play without using a map or anything like that, but yeah, it is also pretty good, amusing fun there. Of course, I would like to get the other 2 games eventually there at some point, but this is actually pretty good though. And then this one over here is Miss Pac-Man, and yes, this is actually the Pac-Man that is actually good on the Atari, so it's very playable, it's all simple good stuff, so yeah, not a whole lot I can really say about there, but if you do want to play a Pac-Man game on your Atari, this would probably be your best one to get, so yeah, definitely go get this one if you really care to. And then the last Atari game, and this is also one of the most weirdest ones, but it's actually pretty amusing, is Journey Escape. Now, yes, this is a band game, so, it's the band Journey, had a game where basically if you know what this like game is all about, it's actually pretty damn hilarious. It's pretty much about the members in the band journey, and you're in space and you're trying to get away from like groupies and shit. It's pretty amusing stuff. So basically you have like you have like your little band members, and you gotta like send them up on the screen and avoid like the hearts that look like, they're supposed to represent the groupies, and there's also like dudes like wearing like hats. I think they're supposed to be like managers or something. It's really weird, but it's actually a pretty fun game despite the weirdness of it. And also interesting enough, there was an arcade version, and the arcade version was actually one of the very first games to use digitized graphics. So yeah, that's actually pretty amusing shit. But anyways, though, it's a pretty fun game despite how ridiculous it is. Alright, so the next two games over here are Super Nintendo games. They're the only ones I got for this month, and they both happen to be a part of a series that I really like, so that's why I really wanted to get these. And they are Fatal Fury 1 and Fatal Fury 2. So as you know, I'm like a huge fan of SNK fighters, like Samurai Showdown, King of Fighters, all that kind of stuff. And of course I really do like Fatal Fury as well. And I do say that the Super Nintendo version of 2 is actually really good, where the Super Nintendo version of 1 it's okay. I mean, it's not bad, it is very playable, it's just, it's not as good as what it could have been. But of course, I think one of the main problems I have with this game is that even on like the easiest difficulty, this game is just fucking hard. Also, the fact that there's only like 3 characters is, kind of a little disappointing. But I think the original version, like the arcade version, also had like 3 characters as well, if I remember correctly, so I guess that ain't that too disappointing there. But either way, though, I think this one is just so much better there, because this one not only does it like look nicer, it sounds nicer, and not only there's more characters, but also it also has plane switching, which is which was one of the things that was in the first arcade game but was not implemented in this one. So if you do want to play a Fatal Fury game, at least on the Super Nintendo, I think this one is the best one, although I do believe there is Fatal Fury Special, but I never played that one, so I don't know what it's like on here. But out of these two, though, I do think this one is good. Where this one is just kind of okay. I mean, it's just not the greatest version of it there, but I mainly got it there because, as like I said before, I'm a huge fan of SNK fighters, so that's why I wanted to get this. And also, they're both, like, really cheap as well. So, the next game we got over here is a Master System game. This is also the only game that I got for the system, and that happens to be Outrun. Awesome racing game, very arcade style, and it's just all good time fun. And all the versions of this game are usually pretty damn good. This one's actually pretty good. Obviously, it's not the best version of it. I mean, I think like all like the Genesis versions and like the arcade versions and all that kind of stuff is obviously way better, especially in the sound department, but this version is still pretty good for what it is. So there's not really a whole lot that I could say about this one, although I guess I could just, say that yeah, these cases are kind of annoying to open at times. But, yeah, it's only the card only, but, hey, that's totally fine, whatever. That doesn't bother me. But, yeah, so overall, not a whole lot I can say, but definitely still a really awesome racing series that is definitely, like, a pretty big favorite of mine. So these next two games that I'm going to be talking about here are games that are for a system I don't really buy a whole lot of stuff for, just because, well, for one, it's a very obscure system that I can never find anything for, and secondly, a lot of the stuff for it are pretty damn expensive. In case you don't know what I'm talking about the TurboGrafx 16. Yeah, so one of the stores around here actually got one in. They got a system and a couple games, so of course I wanted to go check out what they had, and I got 2 of them. And this one game right here was a game I never even heard of before, so I was kind of interested into it, and also the game wasn't too expensive, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Although I could have just went home and just emulated it there, but I'll just might as well just try it out. It's not a big deal for me. And that is Double Dungeon. And in case you don't know what this game is, it's a first-person dungeon crawler, very similar to, like stuff like Arcana and like all that. And yeah, the story in this game is literally nothing special. It's just, you're being sent to the king to go get treasure. That's literally it. But the thing that is really cool about this game is that there's many different like types of dungeons you can go into. Like you don't have to go through like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you can actually do them in any order you want. And the other thing that also is really cool about this game, and this is probably the best part, is that this game is actually 2 players. In fact, you can actually play like the game cooperatively, which I thought was really awesome. Now, unfortunately, I never played it cooperatively, but I did see like some footage of it to see what it looked like, and I was like, wow, that's actually pretty awesome. I never heard of a a first-person dungeon crawler that was actually 2 players. So if I ever do get another controller and that whole like attachment thing to get more controllers into it there, then yeah, this would actually be a pretty fun game to play like that. But as a single-player game, it's not bad. Like, I mean, it's not great there, but it is actually pretty good for what it is. I mean, I like first-person dungeon crawlers, so of course, like, I actually do have some enjoyment with this game, but, overall not bad, especially for, like, the system that it's on, too. Now, this next game was a game that I've played the hell out of on emulation. In fact, it's actually one of my favorite games on it, and the price for this one was actually really good, considering I remember at another store they had it for, like, a loose copy of it for the exact same price for what I paid for this complete copy, so I was like, oh shit, that's definitely pretty damn good. And that happens to be Devil's Crush. Yeah, awesome pinball game, and probably one of my favorite pinball games of all time, at least one of them anyways, because, I'm not like a huge, like, hardcore into pinball games, but this one is definitely my favorite, and one of the reasons why is because, like, the whole, like, theme of the game, it's like a devil theme, and it's, like, all, like, badass and very, like, death metal-like, I love that shit. And, of course, the music in this game is fucking amazing. Just love that, like, music theme. In fact, the composer for this game also did the music for Musha, which is also pretty awesome to know. But, yeah, this is definitely a really badass game. Definitely one of my favorite pinball games that I probably ever played and probably will ever play, unless there's, like, another pinball game that's, like, very creative out there. I know the only other pinball game I can think of that is pretty creative that's kind of like this is Devilish on the Sega Genesis. That's actually a pretty cool game too, actually. But either way though, I was very happy when I got this one. Now the next game we got here is a Gamecube game, and this is actually a part of another awesome series. In fact, this game is actually like probably one of the hardest games in the series, at least in my opinion, and this is coming from someone that really sucks at these games, and that happens to be Mega Man Network Transmission, which is basically it's like the cartoon show that they had, but they put into a game, but not like the Game Boy Advance ones that you're probably familiar with. This one actually plays like a traditional classic style Mega Man game, but just has the whole like Battle Network theme to it there, which is kind of interesting. But the one thing that is really cool about this one is that yes, while it does play like the original classic series, it does also have like a lot of newer like mechanics you gotta learn. Like you got like battle chips that basically give you like additional like attacks and like power ups and stats and whatnot. So there's actually a lot of stuff you really gotta learn with this game, which is why I think this one's actually really hard because it's a lot more in depth basically, and yeah, it's a really fucking hard game. Just like I said, like I'm not very good at these games to begin with, so I can only imagine how hard this one would be. But it's still actually a pretty good time, and of course this is actually a game I've actually never seen in like fucking like years. Like I think the last time I've seen this game was at a store like years and years and years ago. Like I'm talking like back in like 2004, 2003 or something. I can't remember when this game came out. Oh, this game came out in 2003. So yeah, around there. That was like the last time I've seen this game. And of course I got it for a pretty decent price, and I was like, yeah, definitely a pretty good game that I always wanted to try out, because I remember someone telling me that this game was not the greatest, but I was like, I don't know, I think it could be fun, and well, I don't know, I like it, so there you go. But yeah, definitely a pretty interesting Mega Man game, that's for sure. So the next game we got over here is a Wii game, and this is actually a very appropriate game to get for this month, because it is a horror-themed game, and that happens to be House of the Dead Returns 2 and 3. So basically this is, the good old House of the Dead rail shooter games from the arcade were put onto the Wii, but it's 2 and 3. It would have been nice if they added 1, but hey, having 2 and 3 is actually pretty good though. In fact, I actually never played 3 until I played this game, so it was actually pretty good for that. But I have played 2 before, and that game is fucking awesome, especially if it's voice acting where it's like, oh no, nothing can't be helped. Oh, I fucking love it. But yeah, definitely some really awesome games to have on the Wii, and of course, I think it's really handy to have these games on there because, you get, you don't have to use your, like, old-ass TV, you don't need to get, like, a special light gun, although it is recommended to get the Zapper for this, because the Zapper, like, it is, like, a lot easier to play where, if you're just, like, swinging your wrist around, it does get kind of annoying there, so I will say it is recommended to get that there, but you don't have to do that, though. But either way, though, so with that being said, I do think this is a really awesome port to have on the Wii, because, just having, like, 2 and 3 in 1, and then, of course, like I said earlier, Wii games really does strive within the rail shooters. Like, there's definitely a lot of really good ones on there. Just like Ghost Squad is another really good one as well. But this one is probably one of my favorite ones just because, horror themed, and, it's just one that I have a lot of nostalgia for playing in the arcade. So, yeah, good time shit right here. So, the next game we got here is a 360 game, and this was one I wanted for quite some time. I actually could have gotten it on the PS3, but I got it on the 360 because it was just the only one that just happened to be there. And that is South Park: The Stick of Truth. Now, this is basically like one of the best South Park games from what I've heard from a lot of people. I haven't actually gotten around to playing it yet, but from what I heard about it there, I've heard some pretty good things about it. I mean, it's like an RPG that kind of plays like Paper Mario from what I've heard, which is kind of interesting. And also, that's kind of funny to think about because you know how like the show, it kind of looks like it's all paper-like, so that kind of works in a weird way. But, of course, I also heard that the game is also very funny, which, has to be expected, because I actually do really like South Park. Now, even though I do think some of their newer episodes are kind of hit and miss, but at least when it is a hit, it is actually pretty damn good, so it is at least worth it for that. But, yeah, I haven't got around to playing this one, though, but I definitely will get around to it there, because it definitely does seem really fun, really funny. And one other thing I heard that really made me laugh my ass off was that they actually turned Canada into, I forget, what was it, like Dragon Quest land or something? They made it look like Dragon Quest, which is hilarious, so it's like, yeah, I wish around here would actually look like Dragon Quest, that'd be awesome. But either way, though, this is definitely going to be a pretty awesome one, and I know some of you are probably thinking, well, why didn't you just wait to get, what was it, the Fractured Butthole, then you can get this game for free? I was like, yeah, I could do that, but, I don't know. Doesn't really bother me there. Besides, I only paid like $5 for this game, so it wasn't like I paid that much for it there. Alright, so the next game we got here is on the PS3, and it's actually another RPG, but this one is like not nearly as ridiculous there. And it's actually a part of a huge series, or one that's pretty huge, and I've only played like a couple of the other games, like here and there, and that happens to be Atelier Rosa, The Alchemist of Arland. Ugh, confusing titles confuse me. But, yeah, this is actually kind of a remake, which is interesting because the original version was actually on the exact same system. But this one is also available on the Vita as well, so I guess there is that, but maybe they just should have kept it on there. Well, either way, it doesn't really matter there, but I will definitely get around to this one. I haven't actually played it yet because I've just been very busy with a ton of other stuff there, but it does look like a pretty good one there. Like I said, I played some of the other games, and they are actually pretty good games, especially really like Manicamia 2. That one's really fucking good. But, yeah, so this one I mainly got it there because, not only is it a part of a series that I do kind of like, and I do want to, experience them all at some point there, but also this game is actually getting kind of hard to come by. I remember I seen it once when it came out, and then after that, it just kind of just disappeared for no reason whatsoever. But eventually I did found it there at the EB Games around my area, so I was like, yeah, I'd say that's actually pretty damn good. So, either way there, unfortunately, I can't say a whole lot about it there, other than that, it's an RPG, and you have to use, alchemy and all that kind of stuff, and you make items, and the alchemy systems in these games are usually pretty fun, so, that is, its main focus there. But, either way, though, I will get around to this one there, and, maybe I might do a review on, the series or something once I play enough of them there, but, yeah, we'll see when that time happens. Alright, now, the next two games here are PS4 games, and this one right here is actually a part of a game series that I've never played because it was exclusive to the PC, and every time I tried to run it on my computer, it just wouldn't want to, work for some reason, so I was like, fuck it, whatever. So I just mostly watched videos on it until they actually made this one, and I was pretty excited for it, and that is Toho Genso Rondo Bullet Ballet, which is, yes, it's a part of the Toho games. Like I said, they were all, exclusive to the computer and all that kind of stuff. And, of course, most of them that weren't on the computer were mostly, released only in Japan. So, either way, I was actually pretty happy about getting this one. So, either way, this is actually a mix of a shoot-'em-up and a fighting game, which is actually pretty damn creative. I like that. In fact, the only other game I know that plays like this was actually a game I talked about in my PS3 digital collection video. It was Acceleration Sugar X something. I forget the name of it there. But basically, I said the exact same thing where, it's a fighting game mixed with a shoot-'em-up there. It's pretty much exactly like that, but only that this game, it's much more in-depth and there's a lot more game modes to play, but, yeah, it's actually pretty enjoyable. Also, one other thing that's worth noting is that the music in this game is fucking awesome. I freaking love it, man. So yeah, I'd actually say this is actually a very interesting, fun, like pick up and play sort of game. And of course, like I said, awesome music, and I do like the art style as well. All right, so this next PS4 game is actually kind of ironic to the fact that it is sort of related to Toho, but I don't mean like the whole game series Toho. I'm more talking about the movie company Toho, and I'm pretty sure you might take a guess what this game already is already, and that happens to be Godzilla on PS4. Now, it was funny. When I first heard about this game coming out, and after when the game came out, a lot of people were giving this game like a lot of shit. A lot of people were saying like, "Oh, this game is awful," or that it's like one of the worst games ever, and all that kind of stuff. And because of that, I kind of waited out, and then like the game kind of disappeared for a while. So I was like, okay, fuck it, whatever. But then eventually, I got found a used copy of it for like $20. So I figured, it might actually be a pretty decent time to go pick it up. I mean, $20 for a game that could be shitty. I mean, I'm willing to take that risk. I mean, that's definitely a lot better than paying like $69.99. That's for damn sure. So I played it, and as you know, I'm actually a pretty big fan of Godzilla. So of course, you think I might get some enjoyment out of this, and you know what? This game's actually not that bad. Now, yes, it definitely isn't a great game, and it's also not nearly as good as like the ones that were on like the Gamecube, PS2, and Xbox. Those ones are like probably the best, but this one actually I don't think is that bad. I mean, yeah, the controls are very slow and all that kind of stuff, but when you think about it there, if you're controlling like a big ass like giant lizard, I mean, when you think about it, they're not supposed to be running like super duper fast, but I know that's just like whole like fantasized looking thing there, but realistically, at least as realistically as you can get, this is probably the most realistic like Godzilla game you'll probably ever get, at least as realistic as you can get with a giant lizard destroying a huge ass city and fighting other monsters and shit. But either way though, I do kind of like this one there just for the fact that not only do I like Godzilla there, but it's a pretty decent game. Not great, but decent. It's playable. It's just, the controls do take some time to get used to. I do think it is weird that the way how you have to turn Godzilla around is using the R1 and L1. I do think that's a little weird, but other than that, though, I do think everything else is okay. And of course, like the music is perfect, the graphics are really good for, this type of game, and definitely has a lot of charm to it. So, like I said, if you're a big fan of Godzilla, this game is at least worth getting for that, but if not, you probably wouldn't like this game, but I definitely don't think it's as bad as what a lot of people say it is. I mean, it's definitely a lot better than Godzilla 2 on NES. God damn, that game fucking sucked. Or even Godzilla on Super Nintendo, like Super Godzilla. Yeah, that one also sucked too. It's definitely better than those two, I'll guarantee you that. Alright, so next we have some 3DS games, and believe it or not, they're actually both horror related, but this one is more of a cutesy horror, and you'll see why. And that is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Now, I haven't gotten around to playing this one yet there, I mean, because I just got it, like, very recently, but, yeah, I really wanted to get this one for a while, mainly because, I love the original Luigi's Mansion, although, weirdly enough, I actually don't even own the original one. I just borrowed it from a friend of mine for a long-ass time, and I beat the game twice, so, yeah. Definitely had my enjoyment out of that one there, but I still plan on getting it eventually there. But, as for this one, though, like I said, I can't say a whole lot about it there, but I have heard some pretty good things about it, though, so definitely can't wait to play this one whenever I can. So the next 3DS game we got over here, like I said, it's another horror-related game. In fact, the game actually just came out recently, and that is Corpse Party, a back-to-school edition. And basically, this is actually a visual novel style game. In fact, this is actually kind of a remake of the original game, but on your 3DS, which is really cool. In fact, it actually comes with some figures and even a CD, which I will do an unboxing of at some point in time. But yeah, the figures that you see in the back there do look pretty fucking cool. But yeah, anyways, I haven't gotten around to playing this one yet there, but basically from what I know, it's that it's a survival horror game where it's in like 2D sprites, and it's very visual novel, has like a whole lot of that stuff, and yeah, so I can't say a whole lot other than that there, but I have played the one on the Vita, which is Blood Drive, and that game is pretty enjoyable. Now, it wasn't like perfect, there were like a couple issues I ran into there, but nothing too major, but still, I do find that one was pretty good though, but mostly the story within these games is what makes it really interesting, and also like the anime is also pretty damn good as well. So yeah, with that being said there, definitely can't wait to finally get into this one there, and like I said, I kind of wish they released this one earlier on in the month and I would have played it more throughout this month, but well, I mean, hey, I can just play a fucking horror game like any time of the fucking year if I wanted to, god damn it. So now, this is the last game for the entire pickup video. In fact, this is a PlayStation Vita game, but it's actually kind of a twofer because it's actually 2 games in one. In fact, this game came out very recently. So this game happens to be Yotamari Night Alone. Well, at least that's what the main game is called. Or this game over here is the Firefly Diary. And actually, it's the same game on one cart. Like, you can actually like play like either one, like this game or this game on the one cart, which I think is very nice. I think that's awesome of them to do. But anyways, so let's talk about the first game that comes in this package is Yotamari Night Alone. Basically, this is a survival horror where you play as a girl and your dog and your sister go missing in your town, and it's really late at night, so you want to go looking for them. But while you do go look for them, there's like a whole bunch of shadow people like wandering around town, and you know, they can like fucking kill you and shit. And a lot of the monsters in this game are pretty bizarre looking. Like, there's actually this giant like spider monster thing with like a face, and it's like constantly moving like super duper fast, so it's really fucking creepy. And the music in this game is very subtle, like, it's very quiet. Like, there's not a whole lot of music in it, but the music that is there is, like, it's very quiet and subtle, so, you know, it does make it pretty creepy. And, yeah, it's actually pretty enjoyable so far. I haven't played a whole lot of it there. I played it for maybe about, like, under an hour there, at least so far. At least as I'm recording this there, but I definitely am going to try and beat this game, because I have heard that this game was pretty short, but, you know, I'm totally fine with that there. Besides, at least you get 2 games out of it, so... hey, I'm totally fine with that, but either way there, like I said, this is like a big box and it comes with a whole bunch of other stuff, but, you know, I'm going to be doing that for an unboxing video, probably the next one. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Yotamari Night Alone. Definitely a very interesting survival horror, and not only that, but there's only like 2 survival horrors on the Vita that I can think of. There's this, and Corpse Party Blood Drive, so that's pretty great that we're getting more of them on the system, being released over here. Now, as for the other game that's on the cart, is the Firefly Diary. And this game was originally released on Steam, but then they remade it onto the Vita. And the Vita version, at least as far as I played of it, is actually very fucking unique and very interesting. So not only do I love the art style of it there, but the one thing that is interesting is that this game actually uses touch controls. Now, normally I'm not a huge fan of that, especially on handhelds, but I have to give them credit here that they actually did a really good job using them. And of course, the way how the game works is very unique. So obviously you move your character by selecting like what area you want to go to and all that kind of stuff, and you gotta like, you know, do puzzles and like try to get through the area without like dying from like a trap or anything like that. But you actually use both the screen, like the touch on the screen, and the back thing that touches. But if you use the back one, you actually get to control the shadow, and the shadow can go everywhere there's like a shadow part, and you know, you can like mess around, do puzzles and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of hard for me to explain it there unless you see it, and unfortunately I couldn't download video footage of this game for some whatever reason. I don't know why I couldn't, but either way there, it's actually a very unique game, and I actually really enjoy it quite a lot. So I'm actually pretty glad that, you know, we actually got 2 games in one cart. Alright, I'm getting really tired there, but yes, that is all the pickups I got for this month. And we actually got quite a lot of horror games. I was actually not expecting that. I mean, we got Yumari, we got Corpse Party, we got Devil's Crush, and House of the Dead, and even if you think about it, even Godzilla is kind of considered like horror related if you think about it. But anyways, so yeah, that's all the pickup videos for this month. You know, October was definitely a fun time, and you know, all that kind of good stuff. You know, playing like some horror games, and I didn't really watch a whole lot of like horror movies, unfortunately. I only saw like 2, but yeah, I'll definitely just want to get around to watching more. Especially the fact I really want to do a movie review or some movie reviews in general sometime soon. It's just, you know, it's just been taking a lot of work and shit. But other than that there, anyways, I hope everyone else has a really good Halloween or just a good time in general, and, you know, hopefully there might be a game in here that you might be, like, interested in or anything like that, because, you know, that's why I do these. So anyways, so with that being said, thank you for watching and commenting, and of course there will be more content coming out for as this year goes on, and of course there's also going to be more streams, so make sure to look out for that.